Anyway, thank you very much for coming to us on what must always be a particularly difficult day for you. So thank you for your time. I was wondering, given our lockdown, were you able to lay a wreath today? Were you able to observe the usual ways that you honour your father on this day?
Hi, good evening. Thank you for inviting me to share about my father on this day. No, normally we are at the graveyard laying down the wreath, but due to the lockdown, we took a decision as a family that, like all South Africans, we're going to living under difficult conditions, and we shouldn't be treated any specially. So we decided that we're not going to leave our homes as per presidential orders. So what I did today, which was actually very rare, and it was peaceful. I took a moment and I thought about my father and what he meant to me, who he was, and it was different. It was different.
27 years on, you were 12 at the time when he was murdered. You're now a grown woman. Does every year bring a different perspective, different thoughts, different emotions?
Yes, I mean, the first few years, it was a lot of anger and hurt and animosity and confusion. But now that as I get older, I choose to remember him as the man that he was, as the father that he was. But I really believe it depends on the year, and it depends what I'm going through. Some years, as you said, are harder, and some years are bearable. But it never truly just dissipates. The pain never goes away.
He was an extraordinary man and such a loss to South Africa. We have no way of knowing what role he would have played in our country if he were alive today. But we can't help thinking about what we're going through as a nation right now, the lockdown, and how very difficult it is, particularly for the very poor who live hand to mouth. I'm wondering what you think your father might have thought of what we're going through, and what his thinking would have been around the crisis that we find ourselves in now.
Well, to be very frank, I think that he would have dealt with it the way that it has been dealt with. I think that the government has done an exceptional job in making hard decisions in this terrible time. I think that his concern would be for those who don't have comfortable homes, for those who cannot be in lockdown in safety. But I think that for the first time, I do believe that he would have nothing negative to say about the way that this is being dealt with.
You know, 27 years ago today, many South Africans thought with your father's assassination that our fragile peace process was going to be scuppered, that we would never come through this. But remarkably, we did. And it does say something perhaps about this remarkable reservoir of hope and resilience that we have in South Africa, and perhaps a lot of grace as well. I'm just wondering if there are lessons from that time that we can take to bring us through another difficult time.
Well, I do believe that it's two different times. I mean, I know people are trying to draw comparisons, but we didn't come out of apartheid, and we didn't come out of that assassination unscathed. I think that we were definitely shoved towards reconciliation and kumbaya and holding hands, and that came with its own problems at a later stage. So it is completely different. There was a lot of hurt, there was a lot of anger. This pandemic is completely different to that time. This one has taken us by surprise. We have to band together genuinely as South Africans at this time to get through this. So there's no other time to think about anything besides solidarity at this point, because we're all exactly in the same boat. There are no winners, there are no losers, and we have to just get through it together.
Just as our country was never the same after your father's assassination, do you believe what people are saying about this pandemic, that we will never be the same again, that we are at a catalyst moment, globally even, that things will never be quite the same? Or do you think that human nature being what it is, we will revert to our old ways eventually?
I honestly hope that we don't revert back to our own ways, but I don't think we'll ever be the same again. I think that this has taken us by surprise, and it's taken a lot of strength to go through what we're going through at the moment. And we have nothing but time to think about our future. And I do believe that the world will never be the same, and it shouldn't be the same. I think as human, we need to find a better way of being.
Well, I just want to thank you so much for your time, Lindiwe, on what is always not an easy day. Just sending lots of blessings and thoughts your way on this day. That was Chris Hani's daughter, Lindiwe Hani, speaking to us.